Hello everyone and welcome to the 18th episode in the series of things you may have missed in The Witcher 3. This one is special too because today marks the 5th anniversary of the game. It's almost hard to believe how well The Witcher 3 has aged and how many people still enjoy it. So before I begin, I'd like to give huge thanks to CD Projekt Red for developing such a masterpiece and to all of you who have been and are still watching my videos after all these years. Also, let me warn you that this video will contain huge spoilers about Blood and Wine, and remind you to check the previous 17 episodes in the series if you haven't yet done so. Alright, with that said, let's go over 5 details that I think you may have missed surrounding Orianna. The first one is at her orphanage, but not as you see it during her quest in the end. Instead, you have to go and explore it at an earlier stage in the game. In that case, you can see many children playing around the building, with several caretakers roaming around, as well as a teacher and a few other people.
Men and dogs are not to be trusted.
La 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 la.
There is even a small Hearts of Stone Easter egg, however it may not be exclusive to this place.
Mama says that if someone's really, but I mean really bad, it means his heart is made of stone.
But the important detail that you may have missed is actually ARNAUD himself. Not only can you find him here alive and well, but he's also praying at a very peculiar shrine. One that has the same symbol that the Unseen Elder carries on his medallion. In fact, as I mentioned in my conspiracy video, there are several of these symbols all around Toussaint. You can see them at Tesha Mutna, at the Unseen's lair, as well as next to the Cockatrice Inn. So I think it's possible that there is some form of a vampire cult, I guess, among the humans of Toussaint, and that ARNAUD is part of it. I can't be certain, but it's a curious thing for sure. The second detail I think you may have missed is actually in 3 small parts. Specifically, 3 clues that Orianna is indeed using the children for their blood before you actually see her doing it. The first one is right next to her. If you inspect the couch, you will notice some dried bloodstains.
Bloodstains. Dried.
And by the way, this is actually the only locked room if you visit the place earlier, which suggests that this is probably where she feeds on the children regularly, and so the room is off limits. Alright, the second clue is when you inspect the body that's right next to the entrance of the orphanage. Geralt will actually notice fang marks that are old and scarred over, suggesting that the child was bitten once before, but not harmed in any significant way.
Sliced aorta. Fang marks alongside, but they're old, scarred over.
And finally, the third clue is at the body of ARNAUD himself.
Ever fight a witcher, you piece of
That can be found after you defeat the Garcane under the bridge. You find a letter from O. Reminds me of that letter from Orsino in Dragon Age, but this one is from Orianna, and she reminds him to give the children sweets and quality food, which the boy actually confirms.
She took us off the street, brought us sweets, sang to us. You see, Witcher?
And so after reading this letter, Geralt will actually find out what's going on.
Those kids. Orianna kept them like farm fowl or livestock. Damn it.
But sadly, I don't think it changes anything from this point forward. Okay, now the third detail. This is fairly small, but I'll mention it anyway. You know how Orianna starts singing to the scared boy? That same song which she sings during the Witcher 3 launch trailer?
Come, little one. I'll sing to you. Wolves asleep amidst the trees. Wolves asleep amidst the trees.
Well, after the cutscene, she actually continues singing. And what you may have missed here is the fact that if Geralt remains in close proximity to Orianna until she finishes her song, he will make the exact same remark as he does in the trailer.
But one soul lies anxious, wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags, and wraiths.
Nice tune.
Fearing all manner of ghouls, hags, and wraiths.
Nice tune.
Also, let me add another small thing here, which may be too obvious, but anyway, at times, during the Blood and Wine menu screen, you can actually see Orianna pacing back and forth in the barn.
Then I shall keep an eye out for you.
Alright, for number 4, I have something that's more of an inconsistency, and I'd like to discuss it a bit. It's about Orianna's identity, specifically whether she's a BRUXA or a higher vampire. In case you wonder, the two are definitely not the same. It's confirmed by the books and the in-game codex, as well as dialogues with Regis and so on. Anyway, it's an inconsistency because she is portrayed as a BRUXA in the launch trailer, and in my opinion, as a higher vampire in the actual game. I guess I don't really need to point why she's a BRUXA in the trailer. Pretty much the entire moveset of a BRUXA in the third game is based on Orianna. And overall they look basically the same, which I'll avoid showing since my last video got demonetized for nudity. But anyway, I'm still fairly certain that she is in fact not a BRUXA in the third game. And here are my top 2 reasons about this. First off, Detlef has sway over lesser vampires, BRUXA specifically.
He's sicked a swarm of lesser vampires on the city.
We see that they care for him, both in the beginning with Delacroix's body and towards the end when they attack Regis to avenge Detlef.
You raise your hand against the vampire! You shall die for that!
I did what I had to do!
What's more, the BRUXA answer his call to attack Beauclair towards the end. Orianna, on the other hand, doesn't seem to care one bit about Detlef or his problems.
I'm getting on in years. Not easily impressed. Takes a bit more to get me worked up.
Yeah.
Instead, she only tries to secure her orphanage. And even after that's resolved, we see that while other BRUXA fight and kill, she's just putting on perfume or something. And the second reason has to do with the Unseen Elder. We know just how much he cares about his lair. The safety of it seems to be the only thing that moves him. And we also know that Orianna is arguably the only vampire in the whole region who not only has the key to the Unseen's lair, but is probably also the only one who knows its exact location. So she has to be special. There is no way the Elder would put so much in her hands if she was just a lesser vampire and could easily be killed by a higher vampire or even by humans, though not easily in that case.
My. It seems my dear Regis needs to be reprimanded. He's become rather indiscreet.
And with all that said, I suspect that the game itself might recognize that inconsistency. There is a point during the dialogue with Regis where he says something like, you know, Orianna too is... And then Geralt interrupts him saying, yeah, I figured it out. It's almost like they want to avoid saying it because they would end up contradicting something either way.
You know, she too is a...
Yeah, figured it out. Alright, let's say she gets me in to see the Unseen Elder. What then?
I don't know.
So yeah, I think I'm done with number 4. Curious what you guys think of it. Alright, and the last detail is actually brought to you by a viewer of mine. Her name is Ellen, you might remember her from that hidden werewolf video. And this is not specifically about Orianna, but it takes place after you choose to meet her instead of Damien and Sienna. It's just before you reach her home actually in Beauclair, after this poor guy gets killed by the flying vampire. So we see this Garcane, who is hanging by this wagon. And all the times I've played through this, I never thought much of it. But it turns out that there's a bit more to the situation than I thought. So here you may have missed the fact that there's a little boy hiding beneath that wagon. Additionally, after you kill the Garcane, you can have a brief dialogue with the boy. Here's how it goes.
Stay here, hunker down till dawn. Breathe slowly, shallow breaths. Won't be able to hear you then. Understand?
Yes.
And one more small but rather good detail, I dare say, before I let you go, is literally in front of Orianna's door. And it's not the fact that you can find Guillaume's body there if he died during his quest.
A knight's body. Guillaume. Poor fool. Lost blood. Lots of it. Wrung dry, you might say. Numerous wounds. Must have fought a tough battle before he died.
But rather that the guards who fight the vampires here actually carry garlic as well as wooden stakes. If they die and you loot their bodies, you can find those items on them. Alright, and with that, I believe we're done. Tell me what you thought of all these things. Did you miss any of them? Is there anything I should have mentioned and I didn't? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, I just realized that I forgot my customary interruption, you know, where I ask you guys to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So if you enjoyed it, please do. Also, happy 5th Witcher 3 anniversary once again, and thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, stay tuned and be good.